Thank you all for tuning into Big Mama Story Time. Story Time! Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment to my page. Here we go. Hi guys, thank you all for tuning in to Big Mama Story Time on today. Today I will be reading to you all Disney Animal Storybook collection. I just got this book basically and I wanted to go into it. So let's get into this. So the first book I will be reading is a big collection of different animal books of the animals. I guess it's from the point of view of the animals, guys. But today is going to be Moana. Pua and Heihei. Guys, I'm going to call him Heihei, okay? I don't know the name. If it's wrong, let me know in the comments. But I am going to call him Heihei, okay? All right, let's get started, guys. Bear with me. The feast to welcome spring was about to start. Moana and Grandma Taya were busy collecting shells. Moana's pet pig, Pua, tried to help, but the shells he found were never empty. Moana bent down and picked up a small pink one. What do you think? She asked. Grandma, Grandma Tyler inspected it. Yes, that looks right for a chief. Moana was making her father a surprise gift for the feast, an anklet. Moana strung the shell onto the anklet and held it up proudly. Done, she said. Now I can give it to him right at the start of the feast. Just then, Heihei, the foolish village rooster, ran by them, wearing part of a coconut on his head. Silly Heihei, Moana said, removing the coconut. In the village, preparations for the feast had begun. While everyone was hard at work, Heihei just got in the way. Men were busy building the umu, an underground oven. They piled up pieces of wood and the dry husk and shells of coconuts. After they started the fire, they added rocks. Heihei kept getting closer and closer to the hot rocks. You'll set yourself on fire, you silly bird, one of the men yelled, chasing him away. Heihei ran away and stepped on a partially finished platter woven from pandan leaves. His tiny foot got trapped, but he didn't even notice as he dragged the large platter behind him. Gramataya attempted to catch him, but Heihei avoided her, leaving a mess in his wake. Moana and Gramataya stopped when they saw Chief take two approaching Gramataya. Immediately stepped on Heihei's platter to hold it and the rooster in place. Moana quickly hid the anklet inside her belt, hoping her father wouldn't notice. I just wanted to see how everything was going, Chief Two said. Meanwhile, Heihei was pecking and pulling at Gramataya's skirt. As soon as Chief Two left, Gramataya reached for Heihei, but she slipped on the platter. Fortunately, Moana was there to catch her. Nobody noticed when the anklet dropped from Moana's belt. It landed around Heihei's neck, and he dashed away. That is it, Gramataya said, grabbing a hand-woven leaf basket. Heihei didn't see her coming. He was too busy pecking at a rock. In one foul swoop, Gramataya trapped Heihei underneath the basket and then cinched it shut. But Gramataya had been so focused on catching the rooster that she hadn't noticed the anklet around his neck. That. He can't keep him in. You can't keep him in there forever, Grandma, said Moana. But we can keep him in there for a little while, said Gramataya. At least until we're done with the feast. Moana agreed it was a good idea. So Gramataya put the basket aside. Then Moana checked her belt. She gasped when she realized the anklet was missing. Oh no! Perhaps we should retrace our steps, said Grandma Talia. Just then, Pua spotted the basket. He saw Heihei's beak sticking out between the gaps in the woven leaves. When he looked closer, Pua noticed the anklet around the rooster's neck. He was determined to retrieve it for Moana. But first, Pua had opened the basket. Had to open the basket. He rolled it over and over, but that didn't work. The basket was just too strong. Then he tossed the coconut high into the air toward the basket, but all that did was knock the basket over. Next, Pua put the basket on the top of a stick. Then he backed up and took a running start. Pua jumped onto the stick and the basket went flying through the air. Plop! It fell to the ground, but the basket was still tightly shut. Pua had to think of another idea and fast. That is what you really call child protection, okay? Because that is a hard basket to open, I see. On the ground, he saw a long vine. He picked it up and trotted back to the basket. Pua looped the vine around the basket and dragged it along. Running as fast as he could, Heihei's legs slipped out and he ran to keep up. Look at that, guys. When Pua heard music, he knew the feast was about to begin. He had to do something drastic. He dragged the basket toward a slender tree and tossed it onto a branch. Then he jumped up after it. When Pua bounced on the branch, Heihei's basket flew into the air and then back down the branch again. The higher Pua bounced, the higher the basket flew. Finally, Pua bounced so high that the branch flung the basket straight into him. The two animals soared through the air. Pua and Heihei squealed and chucked and clucked. When they hit the ground, the basket finally opened. Pua was thrilled. He could get the anklet to Moana, but the force of the fall caused them to roll and roll and roll right into a large fishing net. Though the feast had started, Pua and Heihei rolled right up to Moana. Moana untangled them and gasped when she saw the anklet around Pua's snout. "You found it!" she said, giving him a big hug. Ah, look at there. He went looking for that for his little for Moana. Later that evening, Moana gave Chief Tu the anklet, and he proudly put it on. "I love it," he said. As Moana and her father hugged, Pua heard a strange sound. It was Heihei. The rooster couldn't cluck because his beak was buried in a piece of driftwood. He'd also gotten tangled up in pieces of the basket again. Fortunately, Pua had become an expert at getting Heihei out of tricky situations. Oh, wow. All right, guys. That is the end of Pua and Heihei of Moana. And that was Disney's Animal Storybook Collection. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in to Big Mama Storytime, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my page if you haven't done so already. All right, guys. Bye.